Hey friends, welcome to the HubSpot Top 5, where we highlight some of the coolest projects being worked on across the platform and around the world. This is the January 2023 edition, and we have another bumper crop of submissions for me to highlight. So, in 5th place, Nathan DeLong is back, and he's got a way to calculate how long a deal has been in a particular deal stage.
Hello, my name is Nathan DeLong, and I'm a Senior Solutions Engineer here at HubSpot. Today, I had a really interesting question come up from a customer, and their question was around, is there some way in HubSpot that we could calculate the time that a deal has been sitting in a certain stage in our pipeline? And the answer is, of course we can. I can use custom properties that I populate with workflows to really give me 2 dates. One is today. It's always going to be today. I'm using a workflow to set this every single day at 12:15 a.m. And then I have another workflow that is creating a date for the date when we entered that deal stage. So as you can see, this deal for Miskovich, Krona, and Lang, it entered its current deal stage yesterday. Today is today. And then I just have a calculated property, right, that shows me the difference between today and when we entered our current stage. The one thing, though, that I thought we could do to build this out even a little bit more to make it a little more accurate is, instead of using our time and stage with these labels that are a little fuzzier, so, a few seconds, a day, 3 days, what have you, maybe instead I just want the number of days with a single decimal point after it. And to do that, we can absolutely using Operations Hub Pro or better. And one really great piece of news, when we look at this solution using Operations Hub, I don't have to have a workflow to always set today's date on my deal records. I can completely forget about this field. So instead, we can look at it this way. Let's go really quick and edit our columns. I'm going to get rid of today's date, and I'm going to get rid of that time and stage, which is my sort of fuzzy reflection of how long that's been in its stage. And instead, how about days in current deal stage? This is what I'm creating with Operations Hub. And if we just look at what these values look like, this is so much more like what I want. I have when we entered these deal stages, and then I have days in the current stage. So really nice numbers here. They're formatted nicely. I can get a really good idea of exactly where we're sitting on all of these. And best of all, too, I can obviously segment my deals off of this. I can filter to find, say, everything that's greater than 3 days or greater than some particular number, instead of working with that little bit fuzzier way. And again, like I said, no more need to have a workflow to calculate that today's date on every deal record. It's just simply not required with this solution. So to walk through exactly how this works, I'm going to hop over to workflows. And we're going to break this up into 2 parts because there's 2 workflows that are happening here. I'm going to move myself over to the side and get out of your way. And the first thing is we have a workflow to set the entered deal stage date in that custom property. Again, that property, it's a date picker type. It lives on my deals. And the only deal enrollment trigger I have is that we know the deal stage. And really importantly, if I click this, you can see that we are allowing re-enrollment. So anytime that deal stage is going to be changing, I want that deal to go into this workflow. The next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to set a date stamp. That date stamp on the deal, it's going to set my entered deal stage date picker custom property, right? Or and then the date is going to be the date of our step. That's everything for this workflow. Again, really key here is that we are allowing re-enrollments, because a deal stage, it's going to change. It's going to get moved between different stages in my pipeline over time. And I always want to make sure I'm updating my entered deal stage date property. So that's the first workflow, easy peasy. The next one is going to be using a custom code action. And that workflow is right here, set days in current deal stage. So we're going to say that enter deal stage. That date has to be populated, and I'm only applying this to one of my pipelines. The only reason I'm doing it that way is because here in my demo environment, I have lots of pipelines, lots of different deals. I wanted to kind of keep this short and simple. Again, with these enrollments, if we click, you'll notice re-enrollment again is enabled here. And then all that we're going to do, once we get that deal into our workflow, we're going to run some custom code. And I will go ahead and put this out on GitHub so anybody else can use it. They can modify it as needed. We're essentially going to include that enter deal stage property in our code. So here we go ahead and we declare that in a variable. And then we're going to create another one called days in deal stage. And all that that's going to do, it's going to take our date today. So that's why we can get rid of that custom property. We're just doing it right here in code. So today minus enter deal stage. And then we're going to do some division because the result is returned in milliseconds and I want to get down to days. So we're just going to divide by 1,000, then by 60, then by 60, then by 24 to get days. And then to have my nice 1 decimal point in my day, which is what I really like, I'm just going to do toFixed with 1 decimal point. We're going to send back the days in deal stage so that we can then use that property later in our workflow. So once we've calculated that difference, we're going to output it so that we can use it later on. We're going to declare it down here so we can use it later on. And what that's going to give us is now there's our property from our custom code. We're going to send it to the deal and we're going to put it in days in current deal stage. And that is what gets me this really nice days in current deal stage for every one of my deals.
Thank you, Nathan. And in 4th place, we have Teun talking about HubDB. And HubDB is one of those tools, it's just beyond me. It's too technically advanced, it's too content driven, but this is a really crystal clear example of the power and the flexibility it brings, and I love it. Check it out.
Hi everyone. In this video, I would like to showcase a website that we've been working on for the last couple of weeks. The website is of our client, Great Place to Work. And Great Place to Work isn't only a great place to work, but also a great client to work for. They asked us to improve the website based on the growth-driven design principle. So instead of building a whole new website at once, we're improving the website step by step based on data that we are collecting. We started off by improving the website homepage and the header and the footer. But that isn't what I want to talk about in this video. Because at Great Place to Work, you can also get Great Place to Work certified. And if you get certified, you will also get a detail page on the website. Before, they were managing the overview of the certified workplaces and the detail pages through a blog. But each time they had an overview of the best 10 workplaces, they were creating a new blog. And this resulted in a lot of different detail pages with canonical issues. So we decided that the best way to move forward was to move the certified workplace overviews and detail pages to HubDB. If we take a look at HubDB, you'll see that we have a few different HubDBs available. And the first one I want to look at is the overview for the workplaces. Now, we are using the dynamic page functionality of HubDB to create a detail page for each row that is added. But we also want to create a nice overview based on these rows. So we have a few columns available that we can use to filter with in the overview. We have the industry, we have the location, and we have the year of certification. Now, if we navigate to the overview, you'll see that the overview is loaded dynamically. This is because we are using React and the HubDB API to create this overview. And by using React with the HubDB API, this also allows us to filter the results each time someone is selecting a new option. Now, like I said before, the client also has a top 10 of the best workplaces in a lot of different categories. So what we did is we created a new overview of all the certificates that a client can get. You can get Great Place to Work certified, but you can also get a certification in a specific category, like the world's best workplaces or the best workplaces in the Netherlands. Now, to prevent the client from having to create the overview manually, we decided that we were going to create a relation between the workplace overview, the workplace HubDB, and the certificate HubDB. So by using a foreign ID column, we can select a row from a different HubDB and create a relation between this row and the row of a different HubDB. By doing this, we can then create a detail page where we are retrieving all the certificates of a specific category and also retrieve all the workplaces that have a certificate in that category. So by doing so, we can create an overview of all the best small workplaces 2020 or any of the other options that we have available in the category column. So by using multiple HubDBs and creating relations between those HubDBs, we can start creating really nice dynamic overviews in HubSpot. So this is a really cool solution where we're using HubDB to create different overviews and dynamic detail pages. However, there is a lot more you can achieve with HubDB, either on website pages, in email, anything you can think of, to be honest.
Thank you, Teun. And now, in third place, we have Caleb King talking about a way to segment your deals based on whether they are open, lost, or won, so that you can compare across reps and pipelines however you want.
So I need to caveat, I did not create this. I saw this in another HubSpot portal somewhere, and I thought it was brilliant. And I think I've refined it to be a better place. But today I'm going to walk you through creating deal status in HubSpot, which can be both used as a very easy stage filter in your deal reporting in HubSpot, or it can also be used as a deal reporting visualization tool to look at rep, team, or time-based comparisons of deals. So the only thing I've done before landing on the screen that I'm on now is that I went into settings, properties, deal properties. I created a drop-down select property, which had 3 options. The 3 options are open, won, and lost. So I created that property as a deal property, 3 values, drop-down select, only 1 can be true at a time. Now I went to workflows. I created a deal-based workflow from scratch. It's going to be a blank one. And I'm going to go here. So I really just need anything. What I want to do is I need to do stage-based re-enrollment. So I'm going to say deal stage is known. I'm going to apply filter, pop into re-enrollment, turn it on, and turn it on for deal stage is known, because I need deals to come back here every time their stage changes. But my if-then branch is actually going to be lost first, and my branches are all going to be based on probability. So if it is equal to 0%, then it's been lost. My second branch is going to be open. We're going to go back to probability, and this is going to be anything is greater than or equal to 1, but we need to say and probability is less than or equal to 99. It's going to be an open deal. And then our third and final branch is going to be deal probability equal to 100. Probably saw that coming. And this is going to be our 1 branch. We can leave the third branch for unknowns maybe, and see how many go down that branch in our analytics history so that we can analyze issues. And then this is going to be pretty simple. We're going to say lost. We're going to come down here. We're going to set a property value, and we're going to grab deal status, set it to lost. Then we're going to be lazy. We're going to go actions, clone this action, and we're going to paste it. And we're going to do that again. And we're going to paste it. And then we're going to tweak what these are. So this is my open branch. So this value needs to be open. And this is my one branch. So this needs to be 1. And so now, if you have several different pipelines, if you have a very large team operating in one pipeline, on one hand, this is going to give you incredibly easy filtering, so that you could say pipeline is any of X. You could skip that, or you could just say deal status is any of open. But you could also look at how much revenue do we have in won versus lost? How many, if I have 10 reps, or 2 reps that started at the same time and I'm evaluating them against each other, whatever it may be, you can use this either in the visualization of your deal reports when looking at a time-based breakdown or a rep-based breakdown, or you can use it for very easy filtering. And so I would just call this, setting deal status. And again, we want to make sure re-enrollment is on. And when you get to turn this bad boy on, one of the questions that stumps everyone around workflows, you could grab this and say, yes, enroll existing deals which meet it, because you can update this at a historic level without any real major issue. But that is my deal status workflow. Again, I did not create this. I do not claim this idea as my own.
Thank you, Caleb. And now we're getting into the upper echelons here. In second place, we have a solution that focuses around Slack notifications. Now, HubSpot has a Slack integration. You can have various updates and notifications pushed from HubSpot into Slack, but for Ryker, the default format was not enough. It wasn't flexible enough, it didn't include enough information or the right information, and so using a custom-coded workflow action, he created his own special notification format, and I think it's awesome. This is exactly what I love to see, where HubSpot has provided some functionality and it's just not good enough and you figure out a way to make it better. Check out Ryker's solution.
Hey everyone, today I want to show you quickly how I made custom Slack notifications using OpsHub and Slack's block kit to make more informative or information-rich Slack notifications, as well as actionable notifications. HubSpot's current Slack notification or action within workflows is limited in terms of scope and what you can add to it, and how you can format it. And so I went and made my own that was more functional for the business, and I also tried to make it as easy as possible to pick up and copy and paste from instance to instance as you switch jobs, as you change functions, or as you change objects that you want to run this against. So as you can see here, I set up this GitHub page so that you can come and get a quick tutorial or walkthrough on how to implement this yourself. This is the basic version of this that I've implemented. I've also since added a search outreach, which is in the code as well. That could obviously be anything you want it to be. It could be another point back to HubSpot, HubSpot Sales Hub, or it could be to SalesLoft or whatever you need it to be. So ultimately what I did in the code was I added everything needed to run this as secrets. And obviously some of these things are not secrets. They don't contain information that is pertinent just to your business or private to your business, but it makes it easy to kind of pick these up and use them from workflow to workflow as I reuse this code against other objects inside of HubSpot. So the basic steps are, this is all written in Python as well. So create a custom code action in your workflow, select Python. Here we're going to add our secrets, and the minimum that you're going to need is obviously within Slack, you're going to have to go in and create a custom application and get a webhook that's tied, a webhook URL that's tied to that custom application that you can point what the code's going to spit out to. So from here, these are properties that I'm including in the code just so that I can easily reference them without having to go out and reference another endpoint within HubSpot. And so this is the gist of the code. These are all of those fields that were above that we're referencing in the code. I do go out here and query the API endpoint for the owner object just so that I can grab the owner name. That's the one downfall here, is that the owner name, if I bring it in up here, comes in as an ID, which is where it's in here. And so we go out, we grab that so I can attach the name to the notification. And then from there, all I'm doing is injecting all of these data points into a pre-formatted Slack data payload that we're going to post out here at the bottom of this to a Slack webhook endpoint. And then I do have some data that returns just so that we can troubleshoot, check that they're working properly, as well as leverage them downstream in the workflow if we want to do that. So.
Thank you, Ryker. And now, first place for the January 2023 HubSpot Top 5 goes to Thomas Lane, who has built dependent fields inside of HubSpot. And I love this solution because it uses a combination of properties and field level permissions and the new ability to build a custom column inside that middle part of records inside the CRM. And Thomas implies that maybe dependent fields are coming for HubSpot natively, which is something I can neither confirm nor deny. But for those of you who are impatient, you can build this today. Check it out, see what he's built.
Hey folks, today we're going to look at how dependent fields operate as of today in HubSpot. HubSpot did note that they are working on implementing this, but if you need it right away, it's totally possible, and we're going to show how it works. So you'll see right here on our screen, we have our birds here. We're going to create a bird. Let's actually create a turkey, all right? That will be our bird. We're going to create it. And once this loads, we're going to go to the custom tab, and we'll notice right away that before we can set any more information, we need to make sure the bird type is set. Now, aware minds will be able to see that our dependent fields are already here and not editable. So let's actually just set a bird type. And turkeys are wild animals, right? So we're going to set this. We're going to save. Now, HubSpot limitation, you have to hard refresh in order to get it to process the data. So we're going to hard refresh, throw up the custom menu, and we can see now that we have a new prompt. Whoa, that bird is a wild one. What kind of habitat does it occupy? Now we can fill this out. When we fill this out, it's going to actually fill in this field right here that we can't modify right now. Now, that is a limitation of the workaround, but hey, it works for the time being, right? So let's say this turkey lives in the forest. We'll submit. Bam, it's updated. We have the hard refresh, and now we should see an entry in our habitat. We do, forest. Okay. Now, let's go back to our birds, and you'll notice here we have a raven that is a type gentle, right? Let's go in and let's take a look and see what happens. So we can see there's a prompt, but this is a new one this time. It doesn't have to do with the wild. It says, that's a gentle bird you got there. What sound does this cute bird make? Well, they caw. They go caw, caw. So we'll do that. We'll submit it. And we'll hard refresh. And we'll see the bird sound field updated. Now, you might have noticed what this is doing. It's looking at a higher up property, seeing what the property value is in there, in this case gentle, and from there it then renders the next step of what needs to be happening, basically a conditional form. The same was true of the turkey. It saw the turkey was type wild, and then it queries you for the habitat. And then we saw also the same when there was nothing in there. It just prompts you totally to enter something in. So if you do a, oh gosh, what's a good bird? A sparrow. Create the verb. You'll notice it'll prompt you for the bird type right there for you to enter in. Now, sparrows are pretty gentle. We'll save that. And again, we'll see now the gentle prompt pop up instead of the wild one.
Amazing work, Thomas, and thanks to everyone who submitted this month. Looking forward to reviewing submissions again for next month. So if you're doing cool things inside of HubSpot, or if you know someone who is, have them submitted to the top 5 for February 2023, and I'll be back then.